Welcome to Worthwhile Watches. Have you ever found yourself really wanting a new watch? Not necessarily a grail or a specific watch, just something new and different. So you go online late at night, see something interesting on an ad or a YouTube video, and before you know it, your cursor is hovering over the buy button as you try to convince yourself that this is just what you need. At first, the shiny new toy is great, but inevitably it ends up neglected and unworn until you sell it for a loss, only to start the cycle all over again. Well, today I want to share 7 things that help me fight off WAS, or Watch Acquisition Syndrome. I hope you'll stick around all the way to number 7 because that's the one that brings them all together and really helps put things into perspective. So let's get started. Number 1, straps. We all know that a new strap can transform an existing watch and bring some excitement back. Straps are relatively cheap and can even be bought in multi-packs with various colors and styles. Experimenting with NATO-style straps, leather, rubber, or straight end-link metal bracelets can transform any watch and bring some new color and fun to your collection. You could even learn a new skill and get into leatherworking or sewing as a new hobby and make your own straps. But what if you already have drawers full of straps and a new look just doesn't cut it? Number 2, research, study, and learn. Rather than rushing out and buying something new, take some time to learn about this hobby. The history of watches and the variety of designs and movements and technological innovations through the years is fascinating to discover. Try sitting down with a physical book and expanding your knowledge of the subject, or read online essays, or subscribe to free magazines or newsletters. This might even lead your interests in new directions that you never even considered. Number 3, get creative with what you already have. Got any old broken or worthless watches laying around? Turn them into an art project, or transform them into something new and interesting. If you have a particular skill or talent, use it to your advantage. I got into 3D printing a few years ago and made some watch stands. Then I designed this desk clock housing for this Quartz Invicta Pro diver, finally putting it to good use. This clock sits on my desk to this day. I even designed and 3D printed this working clock in the shape of the Island Watch logo. I sent one to Mark too, and it appeared in the background of his videos for about a year or so. You can also use broken watches to create something fun. I took this case and bracelet from what turned out to be a fake Casio and made this silly gag watch out of it. I used the module from that same watch to make this desk clock out of Legos. Get creative with what you have. Do you knit? You can make a watch pouch. Do you work with leather? Make your own straps. If you're into woodworking, the possibilities are endless. Same with 3D printing. You could even build a sundial or make an origami watch. One time, I was so desperate for something new, I downloaded the files to 3D print this whole watch. Yeah, it doesn't look great up close, but it scratched the itch and it kept me from buying another watch I didn't need. Let me know in the comments if you've ever made anything creative with a particular skill that you have, or if you've ever built anything cool out of old watch or clock parts. Number 4, solidify your goals. Instead of doing anything impulsive, sit down with a notepad or your phone and clarify your watch collecting goals. Get specific about what you really want. If you've been researching and learning about watches, you might find you have new goals and interests you never even knew you had. Evaluate your current collection, define what you like and don't like, and learn from past mistakes. If you have watches in your collection that you no longer connect with, understand why. Make sure your personal needs and preferences are clearly defined. Consider the opportunity cost of any watch you're contemplating buying. In other words, consider what else you could do with the money. This will also help remind yourself of what you're really striving for, and can help focus your energy away from acquiring and towards savings goals. Consider having a fund set aside specifically for a goal watch. Seeing that fund grow can be a great motivator to keep adding to it. You might even decide to sell some watches. Letting go of something you don't need anymore can sometimes be just as rewarding as getting something new. especially if it brings you closer to a specific goal. Number 5. Mods. Mods can be a great way to make old watches new again, and usually for less than the cost of a whole new watch. I'm not really much of a modder myself, but a couple years ago I installed a new bezel on this Islander Northport. The original bezel was orange glossy sapphire, and all that glossy surface area made the watch look bigger than I liked. This new matte black bezel completely transformed the watch, and I find I wear it much more often now, and the total cost was a fraction of the cost of a new watch. Plus, modding a watch yourself gives you a sense of satisfaction and accomplishment every time you wear it. Number 6. Buy something cheap. If none of these have worked and you just have to buy something, get something cheap and cheerful. AliExpress has some really nice affordable watches these days. Just please stay away from fakes and counterfeits. If you don't want to buy from AliExpress, many affordable brands have their own websites, and San Martin can even be purchased through Long Island Watch now. Amazon is another way you can get something cheap delivered fast. Try to get something decent quality though. Casio is usually a good choice. I actually bought this Casio Forester on Amazon recently during a moment of impulsiveness, but it was cheap and it's a nice little watch. Just look at that backlight. But it's good to develop the habit of sleeping on any purchase. Before clicking the buy button, just take some time to step back a bit. An impulse purchase will probably still be there in the morning. Sometimes waiting a bit and coming back to something can give you a new perspective. That impulse buy might not look so tempting once you've had some time to clear your head. Number 7. Take a walk down memory lane. If you've been collecting for a while, you probably have some older watches that you don't wear much anymore. Sometimes when I'm craving something new, I like to get out a watch box, sit down, and take a good look at all the watches I haven't worn lately. When you do this, take a good look at each watch. Is there something that could rejuvenate the watch, like a new strap? Maybe a mod? Could you do something crafty to spice it up again? If not, try to remember when it was new. When you first looked down at it with satisfaction, that first day you wore it with pride, when you couldn't stop looking at it. Remember what drew you to it in the first place. Was it the color, the style, a special occasion or purpose? Do you have any memories associated with it? Sometimes just shifting your focus and appreciating what you already have can bring back the joy that a watch once brought you. Maybe something you've recently learned will bring new appreciation for its style or history. And if you find you no longer connect with it, maybe it's time to let it go and pass it along to someone else. You could gift a watch to someone who will appreciate it the way you once did. Or if you sell a watch, it can also serve you by helping bring you closer to your newly clarified goals. Getting something shiny and new is always exciting, but rediscovering and appreciating what you already have can often be more rewarding. Not everyone is afflicted with watch acquisition syndrome. Some people take great joy in having a refined, disciplined collection of just a few great watches. There's no wrong way to collect, but I believe the most important thing is to keep it fun while avoiding anything too impulsive or irresponsible. This list helps me do that. Don't take things too seriously or fall into the trap of believing that every watch collector needs this or that, and never buy something to impress others. Buy only what you like and what you can afford, and what you'll enjoy wearing. Let me know if you agree or disagree, or if you have any additional tips or strategies for scratching that new watch itch without actually buying a watch or spending very much. Thanks as always for watching, and no matter how many questionable watches you may have bought in the past, make your purchases worthwhile.